Hello and welcome everyone. In this video, we're going to be talking about solving multi-step equations. So now these are equations where we either need to do two or more steps in order to isolate and solve for our variable. So here we have 3x plus 5 is equal to 14. Now we can see that we have two steps here. We need to get rid of this plus 5. And we also need to get rid of this 3 that is in front of the x. Now we always need to work out to in, or whatever is furthest away from the x, to closest. And in this case, our first thing we need to do is get rid of this plus 5. It's the furthest thing away from our x. And we do that by doing the opposite. So we see a plus 5, well that means we need to do a minus 5. And whatever we do to one side, we have to do to the other. Now doing so cancels out those 5's. So we're just left with a 3x is equal to, and then we have 14 minus 5. Well, that gives me 9. So that's first step. Second step, we got to get rid of this 3. Now we do that by doing the opposite. 3 is multiplying to my x here, so we need to divide the 3 away. Again, whatever we do to one side, we have to do to the other. Now this way, our 3's will cancel on the left, leave us with just an x, and we have our operation 9 divided by 3, which we can simplify to 3. There you go. There is our variable. Now let's move on to our next one for you to try. Alright, so in this second example, we have 2c minus 5 plus 8 is equal to 13. Now we actually have 3 operations happening on this left-hand side of the equal sign. We have a 2 times c here. We have a minus 5 and a plus 8. So that means we'll have a 3-step equation. Now the first step is to actually combine your like terms, because this minus 5 and plus 8, they're both constants. So we can go ahead and combine them. That would leave us with 2c, and then we have negative 5 plus 8. Well, that leaves me with a positive 3. And then we have our equals 13 there. Now, we need to work out to in. So our second step is going to deal with this positive 3. We need to move it over to the right-hand side by doing the opposite of what we see. So instead of a plus 3, well, I need to subtract 3 now. Those 3's cancel on the left. Leave you with a 2c. And then we have equals 13 minus 3. Leaves me with a 10. Now our last step is to deal with this 2 that is next to the c. This 2 is being multiplied, so we need to do the opposite, which is division. So let's go ahead and divide by that value, 2. Our 2's on the left cancel, leave you with a c, and then our equals 10 divided by 2 gives me 5, and there we go. There's our solution to the second problem. Now I have 2 more examples, so let's go ahead and jump into the third one. Here we have x minus 7 being divided by 3. Now this is a 2-step equation because we have a division and a subtraction. So we have 2 operations. Now in our previous examples, our addition and subtraction always went first, but that's not the case in this one, because our 3 that is dividing both of those values of x and -7, that's actually farther away this time. So in order to get rid of it, we need to do the opposite, which is multiply both sides by a 3. Doing so cancels our 3's and leaves me with an x minus 7 on the left-hand side. And we have 4 times 3, which is 12. Now we're set up so that all we have to do now is add the 7 over. So let's go ahead and do that. We add 7. They cancel on the left. Leave me with an x is equal to 19. And there we go, the answer for the third example. We have one more left, and it's a challenging one. So let's go ahead and jump right in. All right, here's our challenge problem. Now there's a lot to unpack here. Well, let's take it one step at a time and always remember our order of operations. Here we can see we have two sets of parentheses. We're going to have to deal with those first by distributing what's in front of them. Now what I mean by that is we can see we have a 2 being multiplied to the parentheses of 3x plus 4. So that 2 is actually multiplying to the 3x and to that 4. So let's go ahead and do that multiplication. That will leave me with a 6x plus 8. And I'm going to go ahead and write everything we have. We have a minus 1 and a plus x. Now I'm going to stop because we have another set of parentheses here. Now we can see that it's a minus sign out in front, which is really a negative 1. We just don't write the 1 in math. But that's also being distributed to both the 4x and the 8. It's probably one of the most common mistakes I see, or my students just write it with the 4x and not actually distribute the negative sign. So we can't forget that vital step. So that leaves me with then a negative 4x and a negative 8. And then we have our equals 5. We have a lot of terms here still, so let's squish them down by combining our like terms. So all of our x terms need to be combined. We have a 6x here, a positive 1x, and a negative 4x. Well, 6 plus 1 is 7, minus 4 is positive 3. Now let's do the same thing for our constants. We have a positive 8, a negative 1, a negative 8, so that's 7 minus 8 is negative 1. And we have that being equal to 5. 2 more steps and then we're done with this challenging problem. First, we need to deal with that negative 1 by adding it over. So that gives us 3x is equal to 6. And then we need to deal with the 3 by dividing it. Our 3's cancel. We're left with x is equal to 2. So we conquered the beast of this challenging problem. It's not bad if you just think about it one step at a time. Don't overwhelm yourself. Now this brings us to the end of the video. I hope you learned something, and I hope you have a great day.